Hi folks, Don from Ireland here. This is a question for Laurie, but Rob can die in because I asked the question first, okay? In season 1, Laurie, you got to utter some immortal dialogue. You're talking to one of Harry's ex-girlfriends, and you say to her, we could swap stories about Harry's penis. When you read that the first time, you go, whoa, I'm not going to say it now. And what was your reaction?
I didn't say I'm not going to say that line, but when I read it, I was like, can I say that? Can I really say that? And they were like, oh yeah, you can. And so
television's changed.
I thought, okay, well here we go. So, but it was fun. You know, it's always fun when you can do something that is, off color like that, or play something that, is, especially for me, that is very out of character. For any character that I've played, I think it's out of character for my persona and who I am, and so it was, it was fun, and I took a lot of flack from it from my friends.
Anytime anybody saw anything about my penis, I'm happy.
Bonjour, Loughlin de Monaco Events. Au bout d'une saison, il est déjà prévu plusieurs changements, des départs de personnages. Comment pensez-vous que la seconde saison va se dérouler?
So apparently there have been a lot of changes from the first season to the second in regards to characters leaving. How do you think the second season is going to develop compared to the first?
Well, I think we now have a head writer that the network and the studio is, they're all on the same page, they're all on board, and they have the same vision. So I think that was a little bit of the hiccup last year, was there was some creative differences behind the scene. So I think we are all on the same page. So I think we will storyboard things this year. I think we will know where things are going. I think there's only been one character that has been let go. Is that right?
Yeah. There's only been one demise.
The Ethan character. That it won't be coming back for a second season. But so I think, I'm anticipating that we will have a show that will, from episode to episode, be more in sync, from one episode to the next.
And I think almost any series, you're bringing a lot of different ideas together. Everybody has an idea of what a show is. And it seems to be that, it's usually around the beginning of the second season, if your show's going to do well, that you really start to have people buy into the characters, and you start finding out what is really working for the show and what it's going to become. So I think we're at that point, which is good for a second season.
Okay, right up here in the front.
I'm Santi Costantino from Italy, Italian live television, like pubs, and I'm Joe Jones. So the question is for Rob. Okay. All fans in the world are happy to come back in Beverly Hills with you and with your cast, and they are happy to come back in Melrose Place. What do you think about the new Melrose Place, new plot, new story, and do you know if Josie Bisset will come back in the cast? Because in the cast there will be her sister and her husband.
Yeah.
So if you can tell something.
Yeah. Who?
Okay, you are clear, but do
that was a joke. Yeah, I don't know. I know Sydney is coming back, and she's taken over the building, and I know Thomas Calabro is going to be on the show for a while. But past that, I don't know. I don't know that they know. I think they're going to see what works. It's almost like 90210. Again, it's to bring something back, to have characters come and go. Who do you have? Who do you not have? I think they're going to have to take some time to find that out. But I don't know who all will come back.
Yeah.
Rebecca left the Hollywood Reporter and Friends. I know when I was younger, growing up in America, my parents wouldn't let me watch the original 90210 because they thought the characters were sort of bad influences and they were involved in sex and drugs and what have you. Do you think the new generation are, better role models for the younger generation of TV viewers, or would you let your kids watch?
No, they're not better role models.
They're not better role models. But you know what? This is what I think. I think it is a good opportunity for parents and kids to watch together. I think if your teenager is going to be watching the show, as a parent, I would sit down and watch the show with them, because you do have an opportunity to, discuss some subject matters that might not necessarily come up, and this would be an easy segue into having, a discussion with your teenager about whatever.
You're
drugs or sex or.
With Johnny, was there something that you were thinking that he was saying was accurate?
I did. I asked him about some different.
She has a son.
I have a son who's 17, and there were some things. And when I first read the script, and I thought, kids can't be doing this. And I went to him and I said, "Is this true?" And he said, "Yeah, that's going on." So, it's an opportunity for parents to see or have a window into what is really going on in a teenager's life right now. So you're not putting your head in the sand, but maybe you're able to like see it and okay, I can have a dialogue now and just help guide my child through this time.
Laura, do you find that working on the show has provoked more interesting discussions with your son, and maybe you've learned more things about him that you might not have known?
What I appreciate about him is he's very truthful. He's very upfront. So I do talk to him, and he's very honest about things, and it has given me an opportunity to say, listen, if there's going to be alcohol at this party, or you're going to have a beer, or please call me, please don't drive, please don't. It's given us an opportunity to say to him, listen, if you're thinking about, having sex or whatever, please be smart, please use protection, please. It has given my husband and myself an opportunity to talk about it. It's not so much that we're saying, okay, it's okay for you to do this, as much as we're saying, look, we know this is in your world, so while we might not always be approving, if you're going to do this and we can't be with you 24/7 to stop you, please make smart choices. It's hard. It's a very fine line, with kids, because they are out there, they are exposed. It's tricky. You want to protect them and you want to keep, but it's hard. It's really hard.
All right, back here on the right.
Hi, I'm Emma from the UK. Firstly, congratulations on the success. With the history of 90210, it must have been difficult for both of you going in knowing that it had already been a success before. And my question is basically to Debbie, for your character Laurie. We've seen Harry go off and have, he's had affairs, he's had illegitimate children pop up, and has kisses with Tracy.
My penis is so sad.
Is there anything going to be interesting for your character, Debbie, coming up?
What happens? The first season's a blur. What happens to Debbie? I think for Debbie, it's the journey, the adjustment of living in Beverly Hills. But she does not have any illegitimate children, if that's what you're asking.
But does she sort of get more sort of drama? Considering that her husband's out there.
There's a bit more drama with your ex-girlfriend,
Right.
and that sort of.
Yeah, I think that's.
Again, we were shifting and changing a lot. There were storylines kind of shifting and changing a lot this season. So some things kind of got dropped, and but I think at the end we were sort of headed in a direction. Yeah, we were stoned. That was it.
All right, up here in the front on the left.
Bonjour, quel est le rythme des tournages et est-ce que cela vous laisse le temps d'avoir des hobbies et quels sont-ils?
What's the rhythm like when you're working a typical day on the shoot, and does it leave you time to do other things besides work? What are your hobbies?
Yeah, that's part of the beauty about being the parents on the show.
And a big ensemble cast.
In a big cast. If you do a series and you're the lead, you have no time to do anything else. Which that's what you signed up for. But on our show, there are days where you work half a day. Some days you're working 13, 14 hours, but the majority of time, I know I'm a dad, and it gives me time to be with the family and still work. So it's not so bad.
Same for me. Maybe you have one long day, or maybe you have a day where you're going to do one scene and you're home by lunchtime. And I have 3 children, and so it lets me be with them and participate in volunteer at their school. And so
it's funny. I think that was the biggest lesson for some of the kids on our show. You haven't worked in TV, and you really want to be. Some of the kids want to be a star, or